पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते हरिः ओम्.
That which we call the outer world is perfect. This which we call the inner world is perfect. Each one filled with divine consciousness. Perfect comes from perfect. Take perfect from perfect. The remainder is perfect. Divine consciousness is non-dual. Anything that emerges from the divine consciousness is whole, is complete, is Purna. May peace and peace and peace be everywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते.
Hey friends, I am Shreeja and once again I welcome you to Purnamadah series, and today is episode 7 and I'm here with Dr. Trupti Jain and Tertia Sandhu. With Dr. Trupti Jain we have been for a long period, now a decade, and we have witnessed many lives change for the better with past life regression therapy. And with her guidance and mentoring, we have all changed from being skeptics to propounders and now practicing therapists of past life regression therapy. Today, I welcome you all to Purnamadah, a series on real life stories and insights of people who've experienced past life therapy with Dr. Trupti Jain. I wouldn't do justice by saying only experienced the therapy, but rather I would say they made a huge shift in their lives with this therapy, which is a blend of hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, counseling, and spiritual coaching. Dr. Trupti Jain herself, a clinical psychologist, occupational therapist, and transformational life coach. With her wisdom, dedication, and love, she has transformed lives of many. And to be precise, over 7,000 people have got healed in the 20 years that she's been in this field. And today, she will have a soulful conversation with Tertia Sandhu, a Buddhist from Gunanagar, a small village in Arunachal Pradesh. The name of the village, interestingly, is after her late brother's name. Her father, being a very eminent political figure and also chief of her tribe, of which she will enlighten us with, and how he influenced her life. Also, we learn today some mystical, lesser known spiritual experiences like out of body experiences, teleportation, shape shifting, which is a very rare occurrence, and how past life cases have been validated. I'm grateful for this beautiful opportunity to witness such an awe-inspiring journey. I'm sure you too will be delighted by it. Today, on this auspicious day of Guru Purnima, we are so glad to be with our own teacher, our Guru, Dr. Trupti Jain. Today is also a day of buck moon. Do you know what buck moon is? How the antlers grow on a buck's head on its own? It is known for regeneration, resurrection. So today is that day, dear friends. And Tertia is going to share with her epiphanies and her realizations and her awakening moments. And probably there'll be a shift in your own mindset as you hear her story. We are so glad, Tertia, that you decided to join us. Tertia herself is an NLP practitioner and a PLR practitioner, and she does her sessions at Zorba in Delhi. She also does her online sessions. She has she in fact is one of the only known past life regression therapists in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. And she's also has a background of dress designing, stained glass art, and commercial art. She had, acquired her diploma in that. She's also authored a folk tales book, which we will get to know more about from Tertia herself. And so here we have Tertia, Dr. Trupti Jain, and I can't wait for listening to this beautiful, mystical story from you all. Over to you, Dr. Jain.
Thank you, Shreeja. Thank you. And welcome, Tertia, my dear one.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste, namaste.
Thank you, Shreeja.
So, Tertia, like we were just told that you're a practicing Buddhist. So why don't we start from the beginning, being born in a family which practices Buddhism, and we know that Buddhism also speaks about reincarnation and rebirth. So from a young age, that philosophy must have been with you. So tell us more about your family, and I think you have a large family of many brothers and sisters. So tell us something about life when you were a young person.
We were a family of 7 children, 5 girls and 2 boys. And then my father believed in like always going to a new place, starting a new place. Like he would go clear the jungle and start his like business. And then we would get to see a lot of places, ma'am. Mm-hmm. So, and we always had cousins coming over, and the house was always full. So it was really nice. We didn't have to go out to meet friends.
Right.
And it was very different those days. We were in the middle of the jungle. We had the rivers where we would go and swim. Then we had a little fish pond. So it was really nice.
So you grew up with nature.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's a rare occurrence today. So your dad, she just introduced, was the chief of the tribe.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us more about how it is to be the chieftain of a tribe, and the culture, the customs, because we are all city bred, so we have no idea about how a tribe functions, and the way like folk tales are so kind of predominant in these cultures, like beliefs and so many things that possibly as a person living in a city, I have no idea about. So can you throw some light on this childhood fantasy stories that you must have ever heard? And
not fantasy though, of course. Now it feels like, very long time ago. It feels like another lifetime.
Right.
Because staying in Delhi is so different.
Yes.
So like, we have this thing like respect for elders. Okay. So, and especially my father, he being the chief, so we had to address him in a certain way, not as father. We couldn't call him father. So we would have to call him with respect. So even if we went near him, we would have to bow and hardly open our mouths. So, so we kept our distance from him. And he was very just. So he treated us the way he would treat anybody else. There was no distinction. So whenever people came to our house, he treated them the same way. Everybody was welcome. So there was always a lot of food being cooked in the kitchen, a lot of people coming in and out. So we grew up like that, ma'am.
So, what is the name of your tribe?
Thai Companies.
Okay.
It's
And so it's a very large tribe. I mean,
it's a very small tribe.
okay. And you were, I mean, you lived in Arunachal, or you came from some place and
About 300 years ago, my forefathers came from Yunnan province of China. So they went, some of them went to Cambodia, some of them went to Thailand, some of them went to Burma, and some of them came to India.
okay.
Then we fought with the settlers in the people in Assam, and so they gave us the title of Gohain.
Okay, so it
That is
means
the
something.
title.
Okay.
It's like respect.
Oh, right, right. So, I mean, how many people settled like this in India? Like 300 years ago, and it's a long time ago.
300 years ago, not many people. Very,
So
very few.
So you are rare, Tertia. So what about certain customs? Can you share some very interesting, like we spoke about your father? You know, he had to be addressed in a certain way,
Yes.
and you had to bow down and stuff like that. So any other interesting customs?
Customs, like in our people had these stages of life. So when you are young, you have to listen to your elders, respect your elders. That was very important. And there was no distinction between rich and poor. So everybody was the same. So a poor man could come to your house and you would give him a place to sleep in your bedroom and treat him very well. You would go to a poor man's house and help him while he's serving, guests during a function. And also, when people got married, they had to lead the life of a normal householder. And once they had children and their children got married, then they left everything to the daughter-in-law, like the running of the house and everything. So they just moved into the background. And when they grew old, they spent their days in meditation. They would go to we had these little dharamshalas, So they would go and spend 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and just pray there and eat just once a day in the morning. So it was a very simple life, very simple, ma'am.
So, when you speak about tribe and chief and such customs, I have this image in my head that maybe your dad dressed in a certain way,
No.
a chief would dress. I mean, anything like that on clothing, like specific kind of clothing or some specific ornament, anything?
Nothing, ma'am. Only that we had a sense of community. So if somebody was building a house and he couldn't afford, so the whole village would go and help him to build his house. The women would cook for everybody, and then everybody would help him.
I so wish if we can bring this aspect of your tribe to the world today. It would be such a good place. Yeah.
I think it's more like what we call community living. The whole community lives together and supports each other. And is this still around? I mean, because now there's 300 years later, there's so many of you now. So is this concept, like, living, community living, still there?
Yes, they still do it, but not that much.
Okay.
Not that much. And like even during marriages, everybody will come and contribute something. So even if they don't have money, they will give you rice, rations and stuff. And also when somebody is sick, all the people come and inquire. And if somebody is really sick, then they stay there. So sometimes you have people like maybe 200-300 people staying in your house.
Oh my God! Really?
Yes, just to keep company with the family members.
Wow, that's
amazing.
Unheard of. but it's so beautiful to hear it, you know.
Yeah.
Just hearing it is making me feel so nice about this kind of living,
Yes.
you know. So your dad being the chief, obviously he needed kind of representation in the government because, so did that happen ever?
When he was young, I think he was nominated as a member of parliament during Nehru's time, the first Lok Sabha and the second Lok Sabha.
Wow.
So he represented Northeast.
Wow.
This is so
So he was living in
amazing.
Delhi at the time.
He was living in Delhi at that time.
He was living in Delhi at that time,
Wow.
and we were living in the village.
So now when you go back to home, to all your family members who live out there
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
village, are you able to adjust from Delhi and going back there, or you actually enjoy going back home?
I enjoy and I don't feel any different because I just go there and I'm one of them.
And then when you come back to Delhi,
And then I'm
one of them.
Delhiite.
She's like water. See, just
It's like,
yeah.
she's flowing. She's flowing.
Yeah.
Wow, it's really so interesting to hear all this, isn't it, Shreeja?
Yeah. Absolutely, ma'am.
I mean,
And this cannot come from a person who's not experienced the multidimensional. I think that's why she's so
yes, yes.
livid
And
about everything. You know,
absolutely,
yeah.
So then, Tertia, did your father build a school there for all the children, or you went to another school, like a boarding school or something?
No, I went to boarding school, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
So where did you go for boarding school?
I went to Assam to a boarding school run by the nun.
Okay.
So it was very strict over there, but all my sisters were there, so I was dying to join them there.
Yeah.
So when I was 7 years old, they sent me, and I was very happy.
Oh.
Okay. So, Tertia, I was just asking you that being a Buddhist, you must be believing in rebirth. So, anything like in your young days, any experiences that you had which you'd like to share? Because obviously you come from a background where you're connected to nature. So, the spirits of the trees, the spirits of the flowers, like we read about it, something that you've experienced, obviously. So tell us more about that.
Okay, ma'am. So one of the things that I did not understand at that time was I had these out-of-body experiences.
Okay.
And like the first time it happened to me was when I was, I think, 4 years old. We were playing hide and seek, my sisters and me. So I ran to my parents' bedroom and I was looking for a place to hide. And suddenly, I don't know what happened, but then there was a ringing in my ears. And then it just like my whole head started buzzing, like when nowadays I can, compare it to the same sound you get when you do that breathing exercise, Brahmri, that kind of buzzing in the head. And then I would like feel myself just turning into a ball that was spinning very fast, and then I would have a like constriction in my throat, and now I can say that it is the throat chakra. There would be a constriction here, and then I would turn into a ball and just spin into the darkness, and suddenly I would just find myself in the middle of the universe. I don't know, among the stars and the Milky Way, and I think all the galaxies. And it was so peaceful, ma'am. Yes. Beautiful. Yes. And there was no concept of like time or space or anything. And I couldn't even feel myself. I just was present there. Present, but not without a body. Just present. And everything was like in front of me. Very vast. Beautiful. And then suddenly I found myself back in my body. Then I continued with my game. And
wow.
Then I told my sister, I said, I don't know what happened to me. And then she just she was only 1.5 years older to me. So she didn't really take much notice of it. And then I also just didn't bring up the topic anymore.
But this was not the only time that you had an out-of-body experience, right?
No,
You
ma'am,
had
it came very frequently.
Frequently.
It came very frequently, and then I began to realize, know the signs. So that
Okay.
it would start with a ringing in the ears, very high-pitched sound.
Right.
And then my head would start like buzzing, and then I would have that constriction in the throat, and then I would start spinning. And sometimes I would try to fight it. I was a little scared also, I don't know. I would try to fight it, and then I knew I couldn't fight, so I would say, okay, let it just happen, and then get it over with, and then I can go back to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for how long did this continue, Tertia?
It went on for quite a while, many years.
Okay.
Many
Even when you
years.
grew up, when you got older?
No. When I went to school, I was 7 years old when I joined boarding. And then I was always out of my body most of the time, and I was observing myself and my friends around me. So one day I asked my friend, her name is Nuala. So I said, Nuala, can you see yourself? And then she looked at the shoes and her uniform, and then she said, of course I can see myself. So I just left it at that.
Yeah.
But I could see myself talking, from distance.
So interesting. The physical body is talking. Physical body is involved in action. But your consciousness,
but I'm just witnessing it from outside.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So a part of your consciousness is obviously in the body because that's what pulls you back. But a major part of it seems to have moved out of the physical body and is experiencing the multidimensionality of this universe. That's so interesting. Tell me, did you learn anything when you were having this OBE? Like any skill that came to you suddenly or anything like that?
I was very good in drawing. I don't know, maybe right from when I was very young. So when I was in class 1, I think, some of my drawings were sent for exhibition from the school, chosen by the school and sent for exhibition. I could draw portraits without, being taught.
So there was a certain skills that you already had. Maybe these OBEs just got you to access the
maybe
vast energy.
Yeah.
And when you came back, maybe you were becoming better and better at what you were doing.
Yes. And this brings a question in my head, ma'am, that as this was happening to her since childhood, could it be related to her past birth and she's just taken it from there, or how is it related? Because she might have been some monk or something in her past life that she's got this which people are kind of doing practices for years and years to experience what she experienced as a child.
Tertia is definitely going to share with us the monk lifetime that she has lived. But I want to ask Tertia more about the OBE because it's a very interesting phenomena. For most people, it doesn't happen in their lifetime. Okay, like the way it's happened to Tertia. But of course, we all experience an out-of-body experience when we go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
When we start dreaming.
You could explain more about OBE, for the people, who are watching right now, if they could understand.
So generally an out-of-body experience can be experienced by all of us when we go to sleep. So when we dream, what are we doing? We dream that we're in another place, or we're up in the sky somewhere floating and flying, or we've met somebody whom we have not met for a long time. So we are traveling in the multidimensionality of this universe even when we go to sleep. It's like having an OBE, but it is not conscious. We are not aware that we are actually having an out-of-body experience. Second, most of us when we sleep, sometimes we know that we are sleeping. So we are on the bed and we are also in the dream. And it seems to us that we are in two places at the same time.
Yes.
So that is also like having an out-of-body experience, right? So the interesting part to understand is that we are not the physical body alone. We are more than the physical body. So in the dream state, in an, let's say, an altered state, if I may even say that, sometimes we are like daydreaming,
Yeah.
and we seem to
Yes.
be in another place, and suddenly somebody wakes us up, hey man, are you there? And we say, like, oh my god, yeah, I'm right here. So these are all aspects of having an out of body experience. What Tertia is saying is an intense out of body experience where the person visualize or either feels that the person outside the body is more real than the
Yes.
body.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what she's telling us about. And then she also said that she moved away from the space in which the physical body was at times, right, Tertia?
Yes, ma'am.
So you would possibly go to the universe and be with the
Yeah.
stars, where you couldn't see your physical body.
No, I couldn't. I was just
Correct?
aware of
Yes,
everything.
that's right. And also, I think you shared with me before that you sometimes went across like your home or to a friend's home or something like that.
Would you like to share that? Yes, it's very interesting.
So what would happen then? Tell us.
So in most of my dreams, I don't walk. I only fly or float. So I don't know. And one day I just I was floating, and then I just happened to, see a lot of houses down. Then I looked in and I could see right through the roof and the ceiling, right into the bedrooms. I could see the cupboards, the safe, the chairs. And of course, I didn't tell her.
She would have been spooked if you
Yes.
had told her. Yeah. So Shreeja, what is she doing? She's teleporting.
Yes.
She's moving out of the space in which her physical body is. She knows she has a body somewhere, and then she's moving away from the physical reality where the body is, and then moving to another place, and like she said, seeing from the ceiling.
Yes.
This is
To the ceiling.
unheard of. This is unheard of.
Unbelievable. But
Yes.
Shreeja, this is a very important thing to understand, that the
Yes.
physical reality that we are seeing seems physical, like I cannot see beyond the ceiling, but when
Right.
I'm not in a physical body and I'm just a light, right, made up of atoms and molecules,
Right.
then the physical reality is also made up of atoms and molecules.
Exactly.
So
It's more condensed, that's all.
Yes, correct. So I'm able to see through the roof because that's not physical for me.
Exactly.
So I don't have physical eyes, obviously. Like she said, she's just like a ball who's speeding away, ball of light, ball of atoms, molecules, whatever you want to call it, energy. And now everything physical is also energy.
Yes.
For her. So for her, it doesn't matter whether it's a roof or not. She's just a body of energy looking down at energy. Yeah.
Right.
So, wow, that's a fascinating thing. And Shreeja, many people have an OBE and they get scared. Okay?
Yes.
And then it stops. It stops.
Yes. Yes.
But for Shreeja, she was so young when it started.
Tertia, yeah.
Tertia, she was so young when it started that it just became part of her.
Yes.
Right, Tertia?
Yes, ma'am.
And she went past. And she went past the fear to accept it as part of her life.
That's right.
Interesting, very
That's
interesting.
why it continued for a long period of time. For many people, these experiences can happen even with a loud sound. Like she said, she has ringing of the ears. Now, you know what is ringing of the ears that Tertia is experiencing?
What is it, ma'am?
So they say that every the 7 different the root chakra, sacral chakra, the anahata, every chakra also has a sound.
Okay.
So when you go deep inside meditation and you access a particular chakra, you can actually access the sound of the chakra also. So not that every chakra has the same sound. Every chakra has different sounds also. So the ringing that she's talking about is the sound of the heart chakra. So what is happening is that is getting an activate. She said she was a young girl at that time. Okay? And there was a little bit of fear also that she would have. So maybe the ringing became more and more, and then she said that the Vishuddha chakra. Much later, she realized
Yes.
that possibly this is all about the
Okay.
chakra phenomena, and that's how she's experiencing.
And
these
the
things.
frequencies, you know, at which,
Yes.
yes.
The frequency at which the chakra starts to rotate or revolve or energize creates a sound. And that's
So
really what
amazing.
Tertia was experiencing. So it can happen to anybody, but it may not happen the way it's happened to Tertia.
Right.
You may have one out of body experience in your entire life.
Exactly.
Because you are scared about it. You don't want it. You feel that you'll die. But Tertia, did you ever feel you'll die?
No, ma'am.
It was safe. It was safe,
Yeah,
you know.
it's
feel
safe.
No,
and
it
experience.
was faith, and it was something that was her.
Yeah.
Her being and the out of body being was the same.
Safe. Yeah.
Whereas for many of us, we may have an out of body experience, but we may get so scared that we don't want to have it again.
Yeah.
Stop it. But for Tertia, because she was so young, and also, the way she was brought up with nature, with plants and trees and animals, and so much of openness and vastness, for her to move into vastness did not seem fearful.
Yes.
So that is very important to understand with her. So wow, Tertia, this is, I'm sure many people who are having out-of-body experiences or children who report out-of-body experiences to their parents, maybe the parents will feel, okay, it's nothing to worry about. Because see,
Exactly.
Tertia,
Ma'am, today's parent would probably freak out.
Yes.
I think it was a very different upbringing for Tertia. And so it could be, kind of absorbed. But today, I think the parents wouldn't even know. So it's so important to also understand what is OBE and what are these things. Otherwise, you get stuck in your conscious mind and concepts, which are too, I would say, a surface level until and unless you go deep into it. And very rigid,
logical.
yes.
Yeah.
And very logical. Right.
So I have to ask Tertia this question.
Yes.
She has 5 other sisters and 2 brothers.
Yes.
So did they ever experience such an out of body
No,
experience?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So it's not necessary that everybody from the tribe can experience the same thing, or in the family can experience the same thing. So that is a very, it's the way one's soul or one's consciousness has also grown or evolved over lifetimes. And that's why Tertia had this experience, So that's interesting. Shreeja, any other question to Tertia on this?
I think OBE is definitely, I'm really waiting to hear from her what made her come to you for her past life session and how that transition happened. Like, what was it that kind of you started looking for answers? What was the turning point in your life?
Something must have happened because she was anyway moving through the vastness of the universe. So she really didn't need to come for an answer. She could have got her own answers. But Shreeja, when you're in a physical body and you have physical relationships and you have physical desires and expectations, then somehow you need some answers through the physical mind.
Yes.
So that's the reason possibly people come for such kind of therapy. But Tertia is going to tell us, how did that happen?
Yes, Tertia.
Yeah, I was going through a very low phase in my life at that time. And when everything seemed pointless, So, and then my self-confidence was absolutely non-existent, and I was feeling rejected and alone, unworthy, inadequate, all those things. And I was also wallowing in self-pity. Now, if I think of it, So, a lot of negative emotions and thoughts and all. And it's very easy to slide into misery, but you have to pull yourself out of it. And so I was looking for answers, and I did go here and there, but then I saw ma'am's ad, and so it attracted me. I said, maybe I'm going to get my answers here. And then I joined up for the workshop, 2-day workshop in Delhi.
Right.
That's how it happened.
Yeah. So what happened in that workshop for you to later on become a therapist?
Yeah.
So I
Tell
got my
us about
answer
the
there.
session. Yeah. Tell us
Yeah,
about
do
that.
tell us
So,
about.
okay. So during the regression, I saw myself as the Rinpoche of a monastery in
Okay.
somewhere in South Tibet. You know, I was a Tibetan monk,
What is,
and I had
yeah.
this very tall maroon hat, curved like this, and maroon robes. And there were a lot of younger monks. They were in a circle and dancing and singing. There was some festival going on.
Right.
And then I had great magical powers, you know, and I had captured a dragon, which was actually a shapeshifter. So we'll come to that later on.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Shapeshifter. And so I had imprisoned it. Then now one of my disciples, who's actually my husband in my current life, so
Okay.
he felt pity for the dragon, and he let it escape. So now I couldn't digest that. You know, I had that ego in me. So why did he go against me? Why did he undermine me? And those were my last thoughts when I died. You know, it haunted me for so long that when I died, I had these thoughts with me. And then I carried them over into this lifetime, I think. So every time I, feel that why is he doing this, And though there's no, reason for me to believe that way. So, and anyway, I want to tell you about this monastery which I had seen because it was very familiar to me. Because 2 years prior to that, I had gone to Bhutan on a visit with my sister and a group of friends. So then we had trekked up to this Tiger's Nest Monastery, which is about 3,000 feet steep climb. So when we reached the top, my sister, me, and the guide, we entered this main shrine. And as soon as I entered, I don't know what came over me. I started howling, really howling. And my sister, I finished all her tissues. and the guide was just looking at me, stunned. What happened to her? And then when we came out, he said, "What happened to you? Did you find the connection to this place?" I said, "Yes. I feel that I have come home after centuries." It was,
Oh my God.
and it was that same monastery which I saw later on, 2 years later during the
session.
regression. Yes.
Oh,
I'm having goosebumps, trust me.
honestly. And I think the monastery is pretty old, if I'm not mistaken.
It's very old. It was made in 1692 by the reincarnation. This man who built the monastery was Tenzing Rabgye.
Okay.
He was the reincarnation of Guru Padma Sambhava, who had introduced Buddhism to Bhutan.
Okay.
So this Guru Padma Sambhava, he flew to Bhutan, to this site, on the back of a pregnant tigress.
Okay.
And that's why they call it Tiger's Nest.
Right.
Okay.
And actually that tigress was his consort, who had changed her form, shape-shifting. She had changed her form because there were demons there in that cave. And then, so just to subdue those demons, she had to change her form. And then they went there and Guru, this Padma Sambhava, it was in the 8th century. So he meditated in a cave over there for 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 hours.
Oh my God.
Yes. And so I believe a lot of saints go there to meditate, even now.
But you're, my dear, already a saint who has been there and now taken a, like a physical human form and learning other things, obviously.
I think
Saints also have to learn other things,
Yeah.
So the shape-shifting part, Tertia,
Yes.
tell me more about that.
Shape-shifting, we have it in our folklore. And our people believe that there is a parallel universe over here where, humans and spirits live. And this parallel universe is populated by spirits. They are very, harmful ones, and they are the benign ones. And there's something in between who shifts between the spirit world and the human world. And these are the shapeshifters. So they have human form. They are human just like us. But then they can change their shape into anything that they want. Any animal, any human, they can change their shape to look like you or like me and confuse people. So, and you can't even utter their name, like in the village. If you say their name, it is believed that they can hear. So people don't use that term for them, which we use. And they say that if there's a tiniest crack anywhere where air can pass through, these people, these beings can also pass through that.
Okay.
Parallel universes. And the concept is now being spoken by scientists.
Right.
And tribes, and they already knew all this. It's so beautiful. So, have you ever met a shapeshifter?
I don't know. I've, people say they belong to a caste. There's certain caste we have. We also have the caste system. So there's a certain caste where these people practice. They worship, I think they worship the devil, or I don't know what they worship. So, then there was this man. People said, he's got a huge mole on his nose, and he's one of them. So he had one day, I know we were sitting in the bedroom, and he just entered. So, and they have a strange look about them, like very blank and scary to look at. So he just walked into the bedroom, and then my mother was there. So she said, "Who are you? What do you want?" He said, "Oh, I've just come to look for my father, some work, maybe to ask for money or whatever." So then my mother said, "Please go out and wait in the veranda." And so she took him out, and we were very scared, ma'am. So they have a different look about them, which is very scary.
Yeah, it's a very unknown yet interesting phenomenon.
Yes, exactly.
Shifting. Yeah. So I think the multiple universes that we have, our consciousness is not restricted to this physical space only.
Right.
Right. Our consciousness is constantly traveling. Right, in our mind itself, and the mind again is not a physical entity. So in my mind, because my mind is a virtual entity, it is infinite. And this infinite space, I'm constantly dreaming and thinking of my future and my past. Like, let's say if tomorrow I dream that I want to become a very, I want to go and live in the mountains. And this is the kind of house I'm going to have, and then this is the kind of food I'm going to eat. So in my mind, I'm already creating an altered reality.
Right.
And slowly, in time to come, I may actually manifest that altered reality. Now, for us, it's going to take time, because time is one of the factors that we are bound by. But for a shapeshifter, there is nothing like time. It can just turn time to suit itself, maybe. And so the shapeshifter can just, get the future in the present. Get the thought that the shapeshifter has right there in the present.
Right.
No, it seems
Ma'am,
like
they're
magic.
more like these, they're more like these witches and werewolves that we read about.
Yes.
And maybe Chudel. Yes.
You can
It's surreal.
You can just change their form. But this aspect is there in all of us. Not that they're different than us in any way. Maybe we are not, we have, through our experiences in this lifetime and many other lifetimes, haven't got stuck in that space. Or we don't want to exercise ourselves in that space. Right?
Right.
But we do have the capability or capacity to do it if we want to. Because we must have lived some lifetime like them also, but we were not stuck there, or we did not take it as me, as being ourselves, right? See, as
Right.
if you look at the phenomenon of shape-shifting, Tertia and Shreeja, when we were born, we were a zygote. And then we shifted and we became a
Absolutely.
fetus, and then we were born. I mean, what we were 20 years ago, how we looked, we don't look that today, right?
Yes.
Our shape has shifted.
Yes, ma'am.
Not that we are the same people, we are different people now, right?
Yeah.
So that phenomena and this phenomena is different in a way, but it's actually that shape-shifting aspect is in us also. Not that it's like completely different to other things. You know, I was reading about the shape-shifting phenomena, and Hinduism speaks about it also. And you remember the war of Kurukshetra, and
Yes.
then Krishna and Arjuna, and Arjuna was not believing in what Krishna was saying when he was saying that you have to fight, though they are your uncles and cousins, but yet they are on the other side of law. And then Krishna said, what do I do to get Arjuna to believe what I'm saying? And that's when he showed him the Vishvarupa. And in that Vishvarupa, if you all remember, what did he show? Arjuna could not see it.
It was like the entire universe is what
Right.
he showed to him in just one glimpse.
And in that
With a lot
one
of
glimpse
light.
of that universe,
Everything. Yes.
how did Krishna look? Why was Arjuna not able to see him?
Because it was scary.
It was scary. Why? Terrific and horrific is the word that they use. Because
Yes.
he had like 1,000 arms and legs and eyes and all kinds
Yes.
of, parts of the
Animals
body.
and all,
Animals
everything.
and
Yes.
Correct. So what is the Lord actually showing us? In the Lord, in this divine consciousness, every aspect of this consciousness of this universe, parallel universes, He was actually
Yes.
showing that.
Akash, Patal and everything, as they say. Yeah.
All the lokas,
Yeah, all the lokas.
what was visible in the Vishvarupa. So it means that the Lord Krishna was actually showing us the parallel universes
Yeah.
that exist in Him.
Absolutely.
Right? And even if you look at the, let's say the 10 kind of avatars of Vishnu, you can Dasha Avatara, okay? The Matsya, the Varaha, the the Narsimha, right? What is all that? There are nothing but parallel universes, right?
Yes.
So Lord Krishna was also a shapeshifter.
Yes.
So if the Lord can shift shape, anybody can shift shape, right?
Yeah.
So the wizard and the witches are also aspects of us.
Yes.
So, but obviously what Tertia is talking about, the wizard and the witches, obviously they have become part of a clan.
Yeah.
Because they are not accepted by everybody, so they've decided to isolate themselves into a cult or a clan because that seems safe to them.
Yeah,
Right.
they're not allowed to live in the village.
There we go. See? But if you look at the Vishvarupa, then obviously they are also part of the divine.
Right.
They should be included, just like we include, let's say, kind of eunuchs.
Yeah.
They're part of us, right? We could have
Yeah.
had the life of a eunuch in some
Yeah.
lifetime also, and we may have
Absolutely.
another one, right?
Yeah.
So I think this whole parallel reality and parallel universe theory, it's not a theory any longer, because Tertia is talking about reality,
Yeah.
about the lifetime that she has experienced also.
It's extremely insightful to know about the out-of-body experience, about the shape-shifting, about the teleportations that you've talked about the beautiful lifetime of a monk that you shared. and also having validated by being there in reality and that you could relate to it as home. You also talked about your relationship with your husband and how it came about.
Yeah.
And there was one thing that we just heard, that you said that you were at a level, which was very high level spiritually. And just because you died with a thought of an ego or a
Hmm.
question of an ego, you had to come down,
Right.
sort of like you to re-experience physical life and re-experience the relationship dynamics to learn something. Would you like to share what kind of learning came to you after the PLR therapy in Delhi, about the relationship dynamics and the ego factor that you spoke about, even in a spiritual person? How could it let him, step down from his practices and, redo the entire journey again? So would you
Okay.
please talk about that?
So what I learned was unlike the monk, I shouldn't hold on to grudges, because I used to have a lot of anger, resentment, and grudges in me because I was very timid, shy, and people would say all sorts of things in my face and think I'm very weak and a pushover. So they didn't think twice before just, saying whatever they felt like. So it hurt. And then I carried all that resentment in me because I couldn't speak out. You know, I couldn't speak out, being very timid, and so I had a lot of issues being open. So I was very close sort of person, and after this experience, after this past life experience, I realized that I just have to let go. It's no good hanging on to these old hurts and grudges and these things. They will keep happening. People are not going to be nice all the while, so I shouldn't expect anyone to be good.
Yeah, as
So
Dr. Jain always puts it, like, everybody's in different frequencies. So everybody's reacting according to that. Would you like to enlighten more about this kind of lesson that comes up, ma'am? Would you like to let us
So,
know?
like Tertia very beautifully has said, that in her past life as a monk, spiritually, she gained a
Yeah,
lot, but the
yeah.
ego and the other things which the monk needed to let go, the monk was unable to let go. So it's not that just because you have spiritual practices or you become a monk that you let go of these um, human kind of tendencies. And
Or
these human
vasanas, as they say.
tendencies, yeah, as
Yeah.
the vasanas, yeah, and these human tendencies bring us back. So Tertia very beautifully had shared that she was a little shy, hesitant, didn't have much confidence. Now the personality that the soul has taken in this particular lifetime is like a kind of a punishment, that I was unable to let go of my ego then, and now in this lifetime I have to learn this lesson. So let me become a little subdued, quiet. Let people have the let them say nasty things to me. It's like a kind of a sabotage that the soul does.
So do you mean to say that people are also kind of role playing for
Yes,
you to learn a lesson?
that's a
Ah,
beautiful word that you've used. Role playing. Yeah, we are
yeah.
playing a character, and the others are also role playing, so that I can learn and I can teach them. So it's like mutual, right? The kind of transactions we have are also mutual. But I think with Tertia, when she understood this, I think things changed, right, Tertia, for you?
ma'am, I was able to forgive, and now I've forgiven so many things, so many people, like for all the past hurts, whatever they have said to me, done to me. I just don't hold anything now, and I feel so free, so free.
And do you find like your kind of personality has changed after so many
After
years?
past life.
Yeah.
My friends have told me that I've changed, and even somebody who told me that I was very irritating during the,
Training.
the therapist training.
Yeah.
Now she's a very close friend of mine. She says, I found you so irritating those days.
Yeah, she found you irritating because you were asking so many questions.
Too many questions.
Yeah, but then obviously she had to ask questions because, she was trying to understand the spirit and the material world and how
Connecting
she's going to gel now.
Yes.
So, yeah. And today, Tertia is, I think, more confident, Tertia.
Yes, ma'am.
What?
I've got my freedom now, I've become confident.
So now if you have to tick your husband and say, I'm going, will you just say it?
I just tell him I'm going before I think, oh, maybe he's going to mind. He said no. So, but now I just tell him I'm going here. He says fine.
Yeah. So imagine if Tertia had, it was her own, kind of resistance or fear that stopped her from telling her husband. Husband then would have said, go ahead.
Yes.
It was her fear that was stopping her from telling that to her husband, right? And so Tertia, I have to ask you more because one lifetime of a monk that got validated, and because you are somebody who has had so many out-of-body experiences for such a long time, I'm sure you may have experienced more lifetimes which actually were, validated. So can you share more with that?
Yes.
Like I was sharing yesterday, I was in one lifetime I was the queen of Barmer. I was getting married to this king, and then I was wearing a beautiful yellow ghagra and ruby necklace. And I couldn't get over how beautiful it was, the necklace. And they were carrying me in a palanquin, to my husband's place. And there were a lot of people there with big turbans. They had come out to receive us. And but it was a very short. I didn't see much of it. I just saw that it was very peaceful and nice. And then I was asked, "What is your husband's name?" So I said, Barao. And I thought maybe I'm just making up, because even during regression, you are here,
The conscious mind is working,
mind is still here. So I thought maybe I'm making up. But later on when I Googled, and I found that Barmer was founded by Bahadur Rao or Bar Rao, they call him, Bar Rao Parmar. So that was...
one more lifetime which was actually validated.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. And I'm sure you had more experiences.
And I had one where I had a LDL experience, which was really good. And in that one, I was a Mongol warrior. I was a general, and very fierce looking. And I was going to battle, and I was killed there. I mean, I died by the sword. So
and which part of your body was the sword got pierced?
In the chest and stomach. And then when I went out of my body, my spirit guide, who was an eagle, a jade-colored eagle, he came and took me on his back. And he took me all around and showed me my life. And what I saw was just ruins, destruction, death. It was really horrifying, and there was nobody to tell me that, look what you've done. You've done wrong. But it was just myself that, I realized that war is futile, very futile. And then I went to this beautiful place. It was a huge dome-shaped building with very tall arches. So I was standing in front of the entrance, and then a group of very tall people came. They were wearing hoods and grey cloaks. And I just felt that they were the masters. So many of them. And suddenly they all, just converged into one.
Right.
Just one master. There were so many of them, they just converged into one. And then there was a big thing in front of them, a sort of like a swimming pool or a TV screen on the ground. And they just flicked open the cover, and I could see that there were scenes playing back over the surface. And it felt like maybe they were showing my past life and my future lives, but I don't remember any of it now. And that's what I saw. And after that, I came to the realization that, because I realized the futility of war. So I'm very peace loving in this life. And the absolute opposite of what I was. So I will do anything for peace, even keep shut, even if I'm in the right. It's okay.
That's beautiful. So, Shreeja, like she said, LBL is life between
Yes,
life.
I wanted to just come to this.
Yeah.
People would like to know past life therapy they've been hearing, but what is life between life, LBL, that she spoke about?
So basically, life between life is between two lifetimes. Where do you go? Many people ask us these questions, right, Tertia? That
Yes, ma'am.
where do you go between two lives, right? So there are multiple lives, thousands of lives that we've lived. So after we die, move away from the physical body and the material world, we are still alive as a soul, as a spirit, right? And that's when we go to the subtle realms, which is nothing but light realms, right? And then when we go there, we meet our master guides. Not that everybody will meet so many master guides. You may meet one or two, or you may meet 10 or 12, depends really on the way your journey has been carved out for you. And then you get a review, like she got a review, right? What have you done? And in the future, life also can be shown to you. And then you decide as to how and where you want to be born. And like she said something very beautiful, it was me. I was traveling and
Yeah.
I was getting the insight. And then she beautifully said that there were many master guides, and it seemed that they all merged into one. So
Wow.
it's just one. We are all one. Sitting here listening to Tertia, and every weekend we are having so many people coming, and you
And
can
probably
see
these
that.
messages,
Yeah, and
yeah,
they all are saying the same things to us, right?
yes.
So everybody's talking about guides and lessons that we learn. And so that's really what Tertia experienced, the LBL session.
And
And
in her LBL session, I would like to point out that she said that she can do anything for peace.
yeah,
Isn't this a key for people to take away, that she being having experience with such details, she's given us the account, and the details don't change because we've been hearing from Tertia since a long time. So the
yes,
details, so you can understand that it was a memory. It's not a fabricated story. And here she comes up with the fact that she can do anything for peace. And having won so much, having conquered so much in lifetimes, now if a person comes and says so, then definitely we have to take this message away, in this particular time, when people are at war against each other. This is so important,
yes,
this message.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's also
Yeah.
important for all of us to understand that we have lived lifetimes where we
Yeah.
killed, murdered, done
Mm.
some horrific things. And we believe we haven't done anything. Why is this happening to us?
Mm.
But then, when, like
Mm.
Tertia, when you experience lifetime that you've been a persecutor, a perpetrator, and you've killed so many people, I think your consciousness just comes back to that feeling that, which is really the natural state of the soul of peace.
Yes.
So that's really how Tertia has experienced that. Wow. So Tertia, then you became a therapist.
Yeah. Yeah. And what made you decide this? That now let me take it as a thing. To be. I want to be a therapist and go to Rishikesh with us. You were there with us, in
Yes.
Rishikesh, and I've been there to see the journey
I just liked
unfold.
ma'am's energy. So I followed her.
Yeah.
I said, now let me learn more
Yes.
things from her. So I joined
Yeah.
for the therapist, the
Would you like to?
masters.
Yeah. Yeah, share the journey with us, as you did the masters as well,
Yes.
apart from the therapist training. So what was the journey like with Dr. Trupti and the entire learning that you had, during those days?
It was really good. I met some amazing people there, and now I've got very good friends, close friends, people from all over the country, everyone, different personalities. everybody with their own stories. And then we had to practice on each other, so which was very interesting. And that's how we learned. And ma'am was really good teacher. I think she's the best teacher, so I'm really, really grateful.
Absolutely.
So whatever I am today, ma'am, it's all because of your blessings.
Who am I to bless? A monk? I can't bless a monk. But then I always say, that the teacher is as good as the student. When students come forth and they ask questions, then the teacher also becomes better and better. If you have a student who just listens and never asks questions, then the teacher also cannot grow.
I can only say that, even being in your company or being around you, we learn a lot, ma'am. So this is what has happened to all of us.
Definitely.
Yes.
And I
And
learned
there's
so
aura.
much.
There's an aura around, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Well, everybody has an aura. So
No, ma'am,
it's
yours
just
attracts.
that.
Yours attracts.
Yeah.
So, I think it's that the tribe has actually got attracted to
Yes.
each other. So
Yes.
just like Tertia belonged to a tribe in this lifetime,
We
I
belong
think we are
together.
all a tribe.
Exactly.
Of past life therapists, of maybe monks in many lifetimes.
Yes.
We've all got together now.
And I think people just have to be with us in this Rishikesh ashram and Masuri and just see the energy with which people are, healing, and the regeneration that actually is happening.
So I just love everybody because we are a tribe who has no place to go to. So we are a tribe that's floating around and flying around.
Yes.
And so I'm so glad that this virtual space has come where the tribe can meet, because we
Yes.
have no place where we go to.
Yes.
So I just love that aspect about all of us,
Yes.
So Tertia, after becoming a therapist, because see, Shreeja, this is very important, okay?
Yes.
That when a therapist herself has got validated experiences, no?
Right.
Somehow I have noticed that you get clients who also get validated experiences.
Yes.
Many clients that will come to us because we've got validated experiences, also start getting validated experience. I've seen this very often. So Tertia, share with us,
Yes.
experience of a client whose lifetime got actually validated.
Okay, ma'am. There was this gentleman. He had come to me, and he was disabled. He couldn't walk, so he came with somebody to help him. And he said his organs were packing up, and he would, he was like a vegetable. So he thought of committing suicide many times. But then because he was like, feeling sorry for his wife, so he didn't go ahead with that. And also he told me that he was very sexually attracted to his best friend. And he wanted to know more about that. So in his past life, he was a eunuch in southern India during the reign of Krishna Devaraya. There was this kingdom called Vijayanagara.
Yes.
And so this eunuch, his name was Kasumba. And he was he was describing his dress. Green silks with gold embroidery and moving about in the marketplace with his personal attendants. And he was very important in the harem. So if there was any conspiracy, he would be the ears and eyes of the king wherever he went. And he would report directly to the king. And so he was an orphan who was brought up in the harem by the other eunuchs. And then he was the companion for the king when the king was young. So then they grew up together, so that when Krishna Devaraya became the king, he depended on this man or whatever, eunuch, for all his counsel and advice. So, and even the queen, the chief queen, I believe the king had many wives, but the chief queen was very friendly with the eunuch. And later on, the eunuch, he fell in love with a Portuguese traveler who he said had, these Portuguese people with hair of many different colors.
Yes, yes.
And this is, and he said they always keep talking about the places they've traveled to. So I was really impressed. And I wanted to go along, but then, my loyalty to my king and queen kept me back. And so he started an affair with this Portuguese traveler whose name was Domingo, he said.
Okay.
They became lovers,
Mhm.
and the queen got jealous. So she tried to poison this Domingo, and so then he left. He said, I'm leaving. So he asked Kasumba, you come with me? He said, no, I can't. I can't leave the king and queen. So he stayed back. And then, what happened? I checked it on Google, any Portuguese, traveler by the name of Domingo. And then there was a Domingo Pez, the 16th century traveler who had come to India.
Oh my God.
who had come to India, and he was the only one who had written something about the kingdom. And he had written a book which is the Chronicle of the Vijayanagar Kings. And so he was the same person he was talking about.
My goodness.
God.
And
Amazing.
and afterwards he had this LBL experience where he was told that your physical condition, your disability is due to your karmas, because you had put so many people to death and torture by reporting to the king. And so until you realize all your mistakes and accept it, you will be reborn in this condition. But this man, he kept on arguing with the masters.
Okay.
And then later on,
Interestingly,
yes.
Ma'am, again, this is so interesting that even if you are part of the crime or stuff that is happening, even if you are instigating it, or spreading it, or somehow being a part of, doing it, you also incur a karma, and you need to
Yes.
then, this is so beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's so important that we understand that action has consequences.
Yes. Yes.
And we must be more careful about our action if you want to change the consequence. Simple
Yes.
as that, right?
Yeah.
So all over the world today, whatever action people are doing has resulted in this consequence that we are all going through, right? The whole kind of corona crisis that we are going through is a consequence of our own action. The way we have destroyed nature, the way we have disrespected nature. Now nature is disrespecting us, doesn't care about us.
And you cannot sit there and say that they have done it. I think we have all to kind of, introspect that what are we in, kind of, even by using things or by, being a part of it, we are also incurring the karma along with
Right.
the people who are,
When Tertia shared about her life as a young person living in nature, we've destroyed nature, right? Cut trees and destroyed so much for road building and everything else. Mountains have been exploded just because we want to build roads and bridges. Well, what happens to all those creatures that live in these trees? All those insects and worms that live in mountains, where are they going to go? One day they're going to create an army, like a battalion, and attack us, which is exactly what's happening today, right? We really have to wake up to the fact that now, when this crisis is over, we don't go back to our old ways.
Yes.
We take charge and we respect nature, and we use less fuel. If we can walk to a place, then don't take our cars there.
Yes.
That much respect we have to have, right?
Yeah.
So important,
It's like soon the buck will grow the new antler, but
yes.
it will regenerate, but I hope it doesn't go back to its timidity. Rather, it knows that what is there, within him to face the realities. So beautiful. Yeah.
So, Tertia, I have to ask you another question. You are somebody who's just getting me to ask more and more questions.
Yes.
because as a person who's married, because I'm also married, Shreeja is also married.
Yes.
husbands don't want to go through past life therapy. They say, okay, if we go through past life therapy, then you'll know all our secrets. So we will go through it, but we'll go through to some other therapist.
So true.
Right.
So Tertia, I have to ask you, because I know that, so did you do a session on your husband?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Now
And
that is a winner.
Interesting. It's
That
a
is
winner.
making a winner. A winner therapist.
We've been trying for so long. It didn't
It
work
did
out.
take me seriously, yeah.
Actually, Tertia, I have regressed my husband in his sleep because he sleep talks. So one day I
Okay.
just caught him when he was sleep talking at 3:30 in the night or something, and I just woke up and he was talking, and I said, okay, good time for me to catch him,
Okay.
because now he must be in his trance state. No, obviously. In an altered state of reality. I don't have to use any hypnotic methods now because he's already hypnotized, right? So I started asking him questions and he was answering.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he told me his past life in his sleep.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
interesting.
friends, whoever out there, if your husbands are not wanting to be a subject and you're a therapist, catch them when they're sleeping. So
Ma'am,
so I won't share my experience with my husband. But Shreeja, have you had such an experience in sleep coddling? Have you caught your husband in sleep talking and then done a session, or not as yet?
no, if I do it, I think I'll wake him up from the sleep, and my voice acts as if bringing him out of all kind of trances. So I don't think I will ever try.
So two of us having two different
Yeah.
experiences. My husband says, moment you start doing
Absolutely.
a session, I go to sleep. Your husband feels that if you start speaking, he'll become awake. So friends, we can have different experiences. But Tertia has done it.
Yes,
She has actually regressed her husband.
yes,
So
she has
Tertia,
done
you
it.
have to share
It's
with
a
us.
winner. So what was the experience like? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't take me seriously. So one day he had nothing much to do. So he said, okay, why don't you regress me?
Oh wow.
I said, fine.
Huh.
And so I regressed him, and he went back to a time during World War II. He was a German pilot of this. He was talking about this aircraft HE-111. It was a bomber aircraft, and he was, there, the main pilot, and there were 4 other crew members, and they were flying on some mission, and then there was a tracer which came and hit them. And so the engine caught fire. But he said, I managed to fly across the ocean. And then somehow the aircraft just exploded in the ground. And he said there was an orange ball. And he says, I just walk out all charred. Whole body is charred. And he's walking out into the clouds. So, and after that, I met ma'am after 1 week. So ma'am was asking me, you've done a regression, and how was it? I said, I don't know. He says, she tried it on me. So ma'am asked him, how is your backache? So, my husband used to suffer from very severe backache for many years, maybe 4 or 5 years. And I had even told ma'am about it. And then he used to take like painkillers, 4 or 5 painkillers. And then ma'am said, what about your backache? And he says, I haven't been taking my painkillers for the last so many days. And then ma'am said, since the day of the regression, he says, I think so. So with that, his backache also disappeared. I don't know how it
So
happened.
now he's a believer.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he's a believer, Shreeja. The last time I was in Delhi and we went out to have dinner, my husband was there, and he's a complete changed person. He's a complete believer. He's asking me all kinds of things about past lives and everything, and he's become a believer.
So interesting.
But Tertia, did you check what any other information he gave that you could find out from Google or validate?
Only the aircraft and all were there, and of course he used to be very scared of flying. But after that, he says, "No, I'm not scared." And
That's amazing.
he used to also collect a lot of this World War II memorabilia, like medals and stuff, and mostly German stuff.
So
So
our interests, the
Yeah.
Delhi movements, all this is connected to a life that we have lived. So if people are having those kind of signs, recurring dreams, certain, collectibles that
Yeah.
are ancient, there is definitely some connection. And if they can inquire, and it's so interesting. Yes.
yeah, it's very interesting. So,
Yeah.
Tertia, my dear, how do you see your work now, kind of moving
Yeah.
ahead?
Yes.
I'm really enjoying my work, ma'am. But now with the current situation where we have to keep, social distancing and stuff, so now I've gone online.
Yeah.
So I'm doing regressions online. So
So
maybe
I have a question here. How is the online regression going? Is it what are
it's
the
like
challenges and what are the
no, the only when the connection goes off, but then it comes back again.
right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's
Otherwise,
okay.
everything is the same. Everything is the same.
Beautiful.
Experience is the same.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
so nice.
So that is something that I'd like people to know, that we are starting to do sessions virtually
Yes.
now, online.
Yeah. All
And
of us.
you need to have a proper, connection. That's important.
Yes.
And what I'm doing is, Shreeja and Tertia, that if there's somebody doing a session with me online, if there is somebody else in the house who I can be on WhatsApp with, just in case the connection breaks for a long time, then they
Right.
can help to just reconnect, because
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
that can happen, So
Right.
yeah, and you're right, Tertia, online sessions are really going well, and
Yeah.
Yes.
they are really effective. So I'm glad that our
I ha-
tribe,
yes.
is
We are
actually
evolving.
now virtual.
More and more.
Yes, our
Yeah,
tribe
we are
is doing
evolving.
virtually. Yes.
Yes.
Lovely. What a
Yes.
lovely discussion we've had, Tertia, with
Beautiful.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Some interesting
Yes.
concepts have come up, and I'm sure everyone's going to
Learnings.
enjoy listening to this. Learnings.
Yes.
I must have had a past life with ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
some
just
past
told
life
you
with
that we
you.
Oh
were
That's
all
yes.
why.
monks. We were all monks,
Did
I'm
you
sure.
see? Yeah.
Ma'am, you
We've,
told me once that you had a dream, and you said that both of us were monks in some monastery in
yes, Tibet. Yeah, in Tibet.
yes,
Yeah.
and we were drawing. We were making the
Yes.
mandala.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're doing
11.
mandala therapies as well, Tertia, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. That's also very interesting aspect of what you're doing.
So I think
Yes.
we really had a
Come to a close now.
come to a close super discussion with Tertia, and I'm sure
Right.
everyone is going to enjoy this episode. And they
Yes.
have so many questions.
Yes.
So maybe I'm just saying that Monday, Tuesday, maybe next week sometime, we can have a little discussion FB Live with Tertia, because
Yes.
Tertia can answer a lot of questions. I'm sure
Questions
people
for
have a lot of
people.
questions.
Yes.
So we can think of having Tertia and Shreeja, you tomorrow. We can
Yes.
do like a midweek live, where
Yes.
people could ask questions, because they're not having a chance to ask questions to the speakers.
Yes.
So
So
that's
they
been
can-
our little, we can't be recording and sending it forward. So that's why.
Yes.
Thank you, Tertia.
Thank you, ma'am.
so much.
I love
Thank
would
you,
you.
just,
Shreeja. Thank you, Shreeja.
yes,
Thank
I would
you.
just
Happy
like
Guru
to
Purnima, ma'am.
end it with, yes, I would like to end it with Happy Guru Purnima to all of you out there. And next time when you pray, don't ask God why so much pain and why me. Just know that wow me is also you, right? So why me to wow me can only come when you accept the responsibility for whatever happens in life is because of somewhere we have sown the seed, and that's all we are reaping. So it is up to us that how we can also create flower garden and create a beautiful, beautiful garden so that all the butterflies come in your garden, right? So change your prayers, change from the complaining mode. Let's get into the gratitude mode and acceptance mode, and there you will find all the solutions. That's what past life regression is all about. That's what Tertia had been talking for so long, with all the validations, with all the beautiful out of body astral experiences, the teleportations that she spoke about, and so many other things like shape shifting, And ma'am said that it's good to have everybody inclusive of it, because parallel universes is what Bhagavad Gita talks about, Buddhism talks about, and so many others talk about. So the inclusive universe that she talks about is so beautiful to even conceptualize in our mind, rather than the divides that we are looking at right now. Purnamadah will be back tomorrow with a new episode, with new stories. And in fact, every week we have new real life stories shared by people who've experienced past life regression therapies. So stay tuned with us. And thank you, Dr. Trupti, and thank you, Tertia, once again.
Thank you, Shreeja.
Happy Guru Purnima.